All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to ProBROknow.
What a start. He's laughing already.
Yeah. Well, welcome. It's,
Welcome, brother.
yeah. Three brothers, three opinions, and one topic. So,
Yeah, that's really classy way to start. Thank you.
well, that's what it is.
He wanted to start.
Yeah, I did want to
yeah.
start.
It was his moment.
Thank you for
Thank you for wrecking my moment. But
Thank you for
it's
being prepared.
Used to it. So, anyways, my topic today, I figured we would talk about life after death.
Wow.
That's a very light
That's
topic.
kind of a heavy one.
Well, not, I just thought there's so many things that encompass it. What are your viewpoints
I can't think of any of them.
on life after death?
Chad's got a dead
We've
soul.
had,
That's right. I'm dead inside.
we've had a lot of sort of things that we can't explain growing up that kind of points to the, I guess, afterlife or supernatural. And so I thought maybe let's kind of dive into that.
Are we kind of like diving into ghosts and stuff as well? Is that
I don't
part
know.
of-
Everything that's going to kind of come
I
up
think
with
it's an
the
open
unknown.
book here today.
Yeah, okay. Well,
So
I guess
do
we
it.
can do it.
let's dive in. Okay, so life after death and
Yes.
everything that entails. So I picked this because I think, like most people, I have no idea what the hell happens once you die. And I know we all probably have different opinions or differing opinions of maybe what happens or what we think. So I wanted to kind of throw it out there.
Well, here's my first question. If you've died, will you even know what really happens?
Well, that's
There's another
That's the
question.
question, right?
Right?
Because a lot of people talk about, I don't want to have any regrets. I want to do everything I want to do in my life so that I have no regrets when I die. But if there really is nothing, how can you have regret? If you
That's giving me a ton to look forward to. Thank you.
no, but I don't believe that. I think there's something, but if there really is nothing like some people believe, how can you have regret? Because you just cease to exist.
Yeah, but that's the part that I don't think I can wrap my head around is there being nothing,
Right.
right? Because again, we're all energy essentially, right? We're made up of
True.
molecules and,
And how can all this energy just
well,
dissipate?
it can't, right? Because that's
Right.
the thing about energy. Energy goes on, right? It can morph into a different form of energy, but energy is still energy. It's constant.
Right.
Well, here's a question, Wade. I mean, you said you believe there is something.
Yeah.
So what is that something? Like, what do you think that something is?
Well, in my first book, Chad, I discussed this.
Okay, Phil.
Have you met my wife? She has a new makeup product.
Yeah. Is her name Robin by chance?
How'd you know? No, I don't. That's a really good question. I just, like Spence, believe there's got to be something. And I'm not a super religious person. I think I'm a spiritual person, but we've all had experiences where
Yes.
call it supernatural, call it ghosts, call it whatever. We've had them personally, and our family has had them as well, our parents. So I just think there's something to that.
Well, are those afterlife experiences, as Spence put it for the topic, or are those just supernatural kind of?
No. Afterlife for sure.
You think so?
Well, I can. Okay, so
Like
here's one.
your ghost experiences that you went through before. You think those are
I
something
know.
to do with your afterlife?
Yeah, and I'll explain one. So,
Sure.
and I think you guys know this.
I think I know which one you're going to talk about, but go ahead.
It's Wade's podcast today. What am I going to talk about?
No, you go ahead.
Holy
Wait a minute.
cats!
Are you going to talk about Hale Street?
No,
No, he's not.
actually.
Okay.
So, what do you think I'm going to talk about?
Nothing. Go ahead.
No, go.
Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about, which is about sort of the other side and personal experience with
Sure.
that, would be Riley. Is that what you thought, Wade?
No, it's not.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So do you know?
I maybe I'm not sure I know the story.
Yeah. So, so when Riley passed, it was that May 24 weekend or
I think
July
it was the
1st?
July 1st long weekend. I think. Yeah.
and Tina and I were going up to friends of ours' cottage, and so we got the news obviously as we were driving up, and it was obviously devastating. And so when we got to the campsite, we sort of explained, sort of why we were late and what had happened, and it was just obviously horrible news to share.
Sorry, can I back you up for a second? Were you saying you were traveling on the road at that time when it happened, when you got the news, or is this just after the fact?
No, we were going up to the cottage that day.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I was driving home to get Tina, and then we were heading up to the cottage. I think it was Ryan who actually, I spoke to Ryan, and that's one thing he said is please drive safe and make sure, your kids are safe, and you guys, drive carefully this weekend. And yeah, it was just, anyways, horrible conversation to find out about that. But anyway, so we were by the campfire, and it was probably 10 o'clock at night, something like that, 10:30.
Okay.
And so we were just all around, and you could hear tons of other people around, different campsites and fires going and music. And it was pretty loud, being in the campground. But, it was kind of a typical Friday night. And so at one point...
So you were naked.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we typically do that when we
you
camp.
said typical Friday night, so just clarifying. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tub time.
Yeah.
Tub time.
Come on, man. Let's get in the tub. It's tub time. It's Friday night.
Jesus. So anyway, so we're by the fire, and can you guys be serious? Like, this is actually a serious topic for me.
It's a tough topic.
So yeah, I had said to everyone, hey, you know what? Can we just maybe have like a moment of silence for Riley?
Yeah.
And just kind of remember,
Okay.
Riley. And when I said that, all of a sudden, we sort of heard, I think it was Stairway to Heaven started playing on whoever's music was. Yeah, it was, as soon as I said that, it was like everything around us went quiet. So we couldn't, all the sound and the music and people laughing and cheering and, all around us, and just, the kind of conversations you hear at different campsites. All that sort of like
faded away.
Honestly, it did. It faded right away. Things got very quiet. And then we heard like Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven was just coming on the playlist that was playing. And like everything, the wind got still.
Wow.
And basically for like the next 5 minutes, as long as that song took to play, there was not a single sound that we could hear except the music. And then it was like just a stillness.
So when
it was crazy.
So when that ended, when the song ended, what were you guys thinking?
So as it went on, this was just about us to just, let's pause and
reflecting
and have like a reflection. And as the song kind of ended, then the wind started, picking up, and it was like whoosh, and then you heard some like the chatter, the background, all kind of getting a little bit louder and louder. And it was, I can tell you, because I was present in that moment, there was something there with us. That's all I can say.
I don't think you've ever shared that story with me before.
No, yeah, I haven't heard it before.
Really? Eh? Yeah, I shared it with
that
Ryan.
obviously touches me just because of the connection of all of that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've heard that before.
So what's interesting is if you told that story in a crowd of people, you would have some that would say, "Oh, that was Riley," and others would say, "That's just sheer coincidence." But I think we've had enough of our own experiences over time that there has to be something. Like there's things that happen that you just know in your heart. It's something more than sheer coincidence, and that's one of those examples. The other example I think about, and I hope you're okay if I share this, Chad.
Sure. I don't know what I don't know what you're going to share. So
well, you're going to hear
I'll say yes at the moment, and then maybe I'll cut you off if I have to.
Well, I recall years ago when we were obviously we were younger and living in Ingersoll, and one of Mom's, if you recall, you were just being a difficult teenager.
What?
What?
I know Chad was being a difficult teenager.
Really?
And mom was one night kind of talking to her mother who passed away years before.
Sorry, she was having like a pillow talk kind of conversation to her mother
her-
in heaven, essentially.
Yes.
Is what you're saying?
Just
Okay.
kind of asking for her guidance to kind of help you because you were just being a difficult teenager.
Yeah. I was just tired.
Yes. And if you recall, we were sitting or at least Spence and I were, I believe, sitting, we were at home and mom's friend or mom's friend,
Okay. Oh, Helen Bynum.
Helen Bynum,
Yes.
came and knocked on our door and
remember
wanted
this,
to come
yeah.
talk to mom. And we said, we're not allowed to have strangers in the house when my parents are home. And she said, I'll wait. And she waited for mom to get home from work. And she told mom that last night, mom's mom, Dorothy, who's passed on, visited Helen in her bedroom to tell her to go see Lou and tell her everything's going to be okay.
So I do remember this story, but I'm remembering it different, and I could be totally wrong. But I thought she was coming to the door before Mom's mom died, Grandma Hunt. No, before she died, to say, that she just came to me and that everything's going to be okay, and that Mom found out right after that
No.
Mom had died.
No.
Because it wasn't that.
No, it was about you.
It was after she.
Many years after.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, think about it. We were on Wellington.
We were on Wellington Street. So as you know,
Mom's
Dorothy passed away when mom was 4 years old.
Yes.
So, yeah. So many, many years after. But she was talking to her mom, kind of, as you said, pillow talk about, please help me help my son. And Helen came over to tell her, your mom came to see me last night and she told me to tell you everything's going to be okay. Like that story gives me shivers.
Well, I mean, obviously she was right because I'm amazing now.
You are amazing. Yeah.
Well, I think you probably just rubbed off, Wade and I rubbed off on you.
Probably. I mean, that's what happens. That's
It's
what
the
happens
whole-
to the oldest, like all the newer ones. Just
Well, we
rub
kind
off
of,
on the oldest.
we teach you the way it's supposed to be.
It's
right?
the whole
We kinda-
nurture versus nature
the way of the
discussion.
land.
Yeah, kind of.
No, but that's
This is how
another
you should
example.
do it, right? You were doing it your way, and it's like, listen, bro, let's follow our lead here because we obviously, Mom was saying, why can't Chad be more like my baby boy?
No, I don't think she was saying
Yeah,
that.
she did.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't there.
It's our story now.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but that's another example that to me has always been pretty impactful. And that happened to our mom. Like there's just been so many that we've kind of encountered over our lives that you just, and the one I think about a lot, and I'm sure you remember this too. Again, we were on Canterbury. And Canterbury, if you recall,
You think about the vacuum and stuff like that?
we thought it was haunted.
for sure.
Probably to this day, I would say it was a
Yeah,
haunted
definitely
house.
haunted.
I would agree there was something going on in that house.
Yeah, like I hated going down in that
I don't know if this is
basement.
afterlife or a ghost conversation.
Well, it's
but
kind of-
I guess it's both ultimately.
Well, obviously, if there's a
there's
ghost,
ghosts, there's
then it's
afterlife.
something that's-
I guess
there's
so.
something
Okay.
in the
Anyways, you
afterlife.
carry on, Wade.
Thanks, Chad.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I will. Yeah. So I remember Spence and I don't know how old we would have been. So living there, probably, I don't know, 8 or 9, maybe.
Maybe.
And I remember we shared a bedroom at that point in time, and we both had to use the washroom. We went down the stairs to use the washroom, turned around the corner, and out from the kitchen came this
Glowing orb.
Both of you?
Yep.
Saw it?
We both saw it. Came
I
out.
don't think I know this.
Out of the kitchen, came down the hall towards us, right towards us, and we both ran into the washroom, and we stayed there
Really?
for quite a while because we were too afraid to leave the washroom. We
Is
both saw
Is this a bad time to tell you it was Dad with a flashlight?
It definitely was
Who's
not.
in the house?
He heard a noise.
Yeah.
I was in the Navy. Now kick your ass. Yeah, no, it was.
Really?
We both saw it clear as day.
I feel like you've not told me that story before.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
probably did, but I don't remember that.
It was definitely a glowing orb.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not like it was, some reflection of a light.
no, it was traveling towards us.
Yeah, you could see like in 3D.
You saw like the shape, like a shadow of a person outline kind
no,
of thing? Or
there was no person.
Just a light.
It was like an energy orb. Yeah, that's the only way to describe it. It was a round, three-dimensional sphere of light that started coming. They came around the corner from where the kitchen was, and then turned down that hallway.
Wow.
And then we could see it, really coming towards us, and we
Yeah,
ducked
you
to
got
the
out
right.
of there, obviously.
We
Yeah.
went into the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah, we locked the door. We were afraid to leave the bathroom. But the fact that we both saw the same thing, clear as day, we both looked at each other and were like, "Did you see that?" And it wasn't like I saw it and I was sleepwalking or dreaming. We both saw.
That one reminds me, and you know the one that I'm going to talk about because of both of us hearing it at the same time.
Yes.
And that was, I think it was probably a couple years after we moved into this house. Missy had gotten up to get ready for work, and I was still lying in bed. I don't know why. I just didn't feel like getting out of bed that day.
So like every other day.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And so I was just sort of lying there, and she was in the bathroom, which is just around the corner from our room, but close. And the kids had already gone to school, and I heard a voice, clear as day, a little girl's voice. It's not like it was a mumble, and I was wondering what it said. It was clear as a bell, a little girl's voice, and it said, "Get up," like that.
What did it say?
Get up. Probably not as fake as that, but no, I mean it was a little girl's voice. It was super obvious.
Yeah.
And, immediately I'm like, what the heck? And I called out to my wife and I said, "Hon, did you just," she goes, "Yes, I did." And I said, "You did what?" And she said, "Get up." And I said, "You just heard that." She said, "Yes." I said, what was that?" She said, "I don't know." And
Your kids weren't home?
no, they were at school.
They were at school.
They already gone to school.
Wow.
And so, she's like, "Well, it must be like an alarm clock or something." And I said, "We don't have any talking alarm clocks or anything like that." And so I could not explain what it was. And she said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I said, "I'm getting up." Like, I don't know what the message is here, but
It's like
clearly,
the movies. Get out.
so-
Let's
exactly.
investigate.
Plus somebody's like, you shouldn't be lying in bed right now. So I got up, but I'm telling you, it was as clear as a bell, exactly those words, exactly a little girl's voice. And my wife heard it at the same time as me. And we still to this day have no idea what it was.
And you've never heard it again, right? Never had any other experiences.
No, well, we've had, we had some issues with the fireplace turning on and off and the microwave at one time, but not voices. I've never seen shadows or orbs or anything like that. Just that voice specifically. And the funny thing was, it wasn't, I want to say it wasn't scary, but it was so obvious that it had just happened. I don't even know. Like, I wasn't scared, but I was maybe shocked. Like, I just couldn't.
Oh, a little freaked out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You start questioning, right? Like, did I hear it? What could it be?
Well,
and then when you can't explain it, that's when things get a little weird, right?
Yeah. If my wife hadn't been standing in the other room and finished my sentence for me, I would have thought I was hearing things for sure.
Yeah.
So we're talking a lot about ghosts, but let's take this in a bit of a different direction, just around, is there life after death? Mm-hmm. So we've known people who have passed away who have clearly said in those final moments to their loved ones, "I'm going to a better place. It's all good," or they seem quite content before they pass away.
Yep.
I know when Sue's mother passed away, or before she did, she looked up at something in the room and went, "No," and there was nothing there, and it was like she was saying, "No, I'm not quite ready."
Really?
Like, it's very interesting, the things that happen. And scientists will tell you, "Oh, it's just the brain chemistry. It's what's that chemical? DMT?
Oh, that naturally produced.
DMT?
Yeah, it's naturally produced.
Yeah,
In the body.
it's DMT that just floods your brain, and that's why you see that's why your life passes before your eyes, and that's why you see things and figures, and they can explain that away. But I don't know, like, that just makes you think, is there something more? And then people say, well, you always have people around you. Your loved ones are always with you and around you. So then I think, well, are they? Because there's some things that maybe I don't want them to see.
Well, like what? What do you mean?
Well, no, like you're being intimate with your wife. Do you really want your loved ones to see
I
that?
guess I wonder, why are you getting intimate with your wife while you're on your deathbed around all your loved ones?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You're just saying in general.
If people are around you.
Like intimate conversations.
Well, I think he meant more like intimate.
Chad.
Okay, sorry, I've lost you somewhere. Carry on.
No.
Well, do you know what intimacy is?
Yeah.
When someone says intimacy.
Yeah,
Say
I've got
it
that
with
part.
us,
Thank you.
Chad. Intimacy.
How do you spell that? Intimate?
It's into me, I see.
Okay.
Into me, I see. I just mean, a lot of people will tell you, if you go to like a psychic or a spiritualist, they'll say, "Oh, your loved ones are always with you; they're around you. I can see you've got people around you
Okay,
right
yes.
now." If that's the case, there are things that we do in our lives that you probably wouldn't want them to see, like even just using the washroom.
It begs the question. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I follow you.
Right?
Okay.
And I said being intimate, but you're being intimate with your partner, right?
I was going somewhere with my humor, and I'm going to keep it to myself.
It's being intimate with himself. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
not
knew
where I
that
was
was
going.
gonna.
That's
I
not
knew
where
that
I
was
going
gonna
with
come
that.
up too.
No.
But like, using the washroom, whatever, right? And then if they're always with you, are they seeing? Are they seeing all of that? Like it's just
It's a little embarrassing.
it's just an interesting thing. Are they always around and seeing that kind of stuff?
It's cold in here.
I was going to say, were you? Wait,
I
were
was
you
in
saying
the
I was
pool.
in-
I'm a grower,
I
not
was
a
in the
shower.
pool, right? Like no, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there is anyone around me. If there was, I would probably want.
You made the B reel for sure. If
My,
there's
my Grandpa Hunt. I would probably want Grandpa Hunt around me if I could choose.
So that brings up another question then.
Sure.
And it's a tough question because it means thinking about our parents passing away at some point, which is terrible.
Yes.
Would you want mom or dad to haunt you after death?
well, I don't know if it's a haunt.
visit.
Haunt.
Visit
yeah,
you.
Well, I
would
guarantee
say
they're
visit.
going to visit.
I would
for
hope
sure.
they would visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
there's no question mom will visit. Dad, I think, you know.
She's probably going to be correcting my grammar until I'm gone. You know, she's the writer, right? She's
Would that scare you or would it be comforting?
I think it'd be comforting.
Yeah. At least you hope it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I have not thought about that. I try not to.
Really?
Well,
Instead of hearing like
No.
a little girl saying,
no.
you're going to hear like, Jesus Christ. And then you're like, oh, dad's here.
Dad's still yelling about the sailboat. You know. No, I mean, obviously, I don't want to think about either of them leaving the planet.
No.
But I mean, I haven't thought about if and when they did, whether or not they would hang around to visit me. I really haven't thought about that. You have, Spence?
Well, I think I have in a broader sense of when I just want to know what happens after. I do believe that we will continue in some aspect. Again, because we're energy. Energy doesn't dissipate. So I've got to believe that when this life is over, and I transition to the next life, whatever that is, that there's something else there. There can't be a finality. To me, I just can't imagine
You not
darkness.
existing.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Like I think, and then people talk about this. Is that your soul? Is it,
Right.
like, sure, this is a body and the shell of who I am, but the essence of me is the energetic soul that I am.
Can I just say, and what a fine shell it is.
It's, yeah.
Ironically, I was just thinking when I come back, I hope I have abs. 'Cause
That's a big change. That's a big ask.
I'm not quite sure.
I always say
They can do that.
I have a washboard stomach. It's just doing a load right now.
There's only so many things we can do.
That's right. Even God can't make that happen.
No, it's yeah. So here's the thing I think about. If there is something after this, which I think there has to be too, I'm kind of like you. Then what does that feel like for us to know that we're no longer part of that world, but we're still existing in some other, we'll call it a realm, I guess, and maybe we can see our loved ones still, or we can know they're doing well. Wouldn't that just make us really miss them and want to be in that environment, or is it just so loving where we are?
I think if you have all the other, people around you that have passed, and then I think it's not like
I think it'd be comforting.
I don't think you're looking at the people that are still alive and wondering like, oh, I missed them. I think you're just now I'm sure you're aware that they're still living this life, but I think,
But where you are is so amazing.
that you're living in this other, you understand. I think at that point, once you pass on, I think there becomes this realization of really what life is, and that this was maybe just a very small moment in time where you experience life in the physical form.
So this is just the beginning of it all, really. And then when you pass on, you really get to live the rest of it. Is kind of what you're saying.
Whether that's as different dimensions, right? We're in the third dimension and fourth, fifth, whatever. yeah, I think you realize that this was just some small moment in time of, your journey or your existence,
Interesting.
I guess.
But wouldn't you be, if you're, I'll say looking down because none of us know, but you're looking down on your family, your daughters, they're grieving losing you, and you can't be there to comfort them. Like, but
Yeah, that's not a good thought.
no, but that's where my head goes. Like, if you really go somewhere else where you can still see everything else around you, or still see the other realms, is that not torturous to know that? Like, I don't know.
I think it's, I don't know
mean,
because
what do
I've
we know,
Of
never,
course, we don't know. Yeah.
right? But I think ultimately, if you realize that there's a lot more to life than what this life is, I think that in itself probably is comforting, knowing that your loved ones are going to transition and you're going to be with them, at some point in the future.
So, sorry, Chad, you go ahead.
No, that's right. No, I was just thinking, like, if I passed, too soon, or even if it was, at ripe age of whatever, I guess I would hope that I would be able to infuse myself in some way, spiritually speaking, with my children, but in a way that there was just comfort, that they felt a comfort. Like, I feel like, Dad's here. Maybe they're going through a tough time, and there was something that they just felt like there was somebody there kind of helping them along. That's the feeling that I would hope, after I'm gone, that would be instilled on them.
They feel your presence.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I think so. They just feel there's like a warmth, or there's some kind of feeling that you can't explain, where they just feel, like they're getting wrapped with a hug. You know what I mean?
Well, I know with our own mother, she has often over the years said she feels her mother
Yes,
present at the various times.
absolutely.
But quite honestly, I haven't asked her in a long time if she has felt her mom around her. So I don't
haven't
know if
either,
that's something that is past or.
No,
Maybe we have to ask Mom, that when she passes on, can there be something that she does so we know that it's her?
Oh, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
It's very interesting.
I wonder.
Something
Could you
specific.
imagine though? Like, if you're, like, how would somebody want to hear that? Would you?
Oh,
Wouldn't you want to know? I would.
yeah, and mom would be all over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would be okay with that conversation, I think. And I wonder too if dad feels his siblings around him. Because in the last few years, as you know, we've attended a lot of funerals for his side of the family. And just wonder if he feels the presence of his siblings around him.
Still a little PTSD for me.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this is a little morbid, because now we're talking about losing parents and stuff. But if you could choose right now, I'm going to say mom, and just to be clear, she's with us and hopefully for a long time. But
What are we choosing?
well, I was going to say, you said could they do something that so that you would know it was them? If you could choose, what would you?
What would the signal be?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, if you could choose a signal and say, I'd really love it if you would do this, then I'll know that you're with me.
probably something around to the moon and back.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Well, mom's always signing her cards, I love you to the moon and back, right?
No, I know, but-
TTMAB. So if she did something, if I saw that saying somewhere or it showed up, I mean, that's
a pretty generic-
it's a common, yeah.
that's a little
Yeah, I
random,
don't think you need
Yeah.
to find something a little bit more
I'm thinking you're going through the
specific.
grocery store and a pack of bologna flies into the cart.
And it's already curled like a
It's already curled
sombrero.
like a sombrero.
Yeah.
That would be pretty obvious. Yeah.
It flies into the cart.
I think it'd be whatever, Mom should tell us what she would do.
Yeah. I think
And then
that's
we'll know to look out for
an
that.
interesting example. We'd have to write it down somewhere. We always
So
do.
then nobody would know you were lying about it when it really happened.
But I don't even care if it's not about someone knowing if it's true or not. It's about me knowing,
Very true.
right?
Well, I think we should move on from that, because I hate to think about those things.
Yeah, it's not a nice.
Anyway,
it's
I
not
don't know
a
how
nice
we
thought.
got into our
Well,
parents
you're talking
passing,
afterlife, so
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to have this kind of a conversation as to what do you guys both think, and then have you had any experiences that make you believe that there is life after, or some existence after? Which I, for the record, I truly do believe. Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've experienced it. I've
Yeah,
experienced.
I would say
things.
so too. I believe that there's something, I don't know if it's ghosts, if it's spirits, if it's afterlife. I don't know what it is exactly, but there's been more than one thing that has happened which lead me to believe that there is something going on after the fact, after you go.
So here's a sort of a related question. Do you believe that deja vu,
Deja vu?
deja vu, oh my God,
Wait,
deja vu.
Oh, there you go.
there you go.
Having a hard time with that today. Do you believe that is part of
Yeah, that's interesting actually.
part of the afterlife of some?
You know, because that happens all the time. And you think, okay, what is this? Is this you looking back? Like, are you looking back at yourself?
I think that's just a glitch in the matrix.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
so
the Matrix.
we're all part of a matrix. Yeah.
Who knows?
And is that ghost? There's the tape is just playing again, or there's residual stuff on the tape.
That's a whole different
It is, yeah.
topic.
Wow.
Yeah, deja vu kind of is. I find that very interesting. It's like I know I've had this conversation before. I've been here before, but I know I haven't.
I'm sure there's been some big studies on deja vu, I would think.
Yep.
Like somebody.
I haven't had
actually-
deja vu in a while, though.
Really? I don't know when the last time was that I did.
It's been a very long time for me. But yeah, I can't explain it. But it is a really weird feeling when you're, when it's like you're almost like you're remembering you're coming out of a dream, and you're like, hang on, that this happened before. I remember.
It would be cool though if you found out that if somebody could legitimately tell you that was an afterlife experience, just sort of poking its head in to give you a little insight as to what's coming.
Yeah, we should have done some research on deja vu.
We should be
Deja vu. Sounds like a talk show. Welcome to Deja Vu. Today on Deja Vu. So if you believe in life after death, then do you both believe in past lives, reincarnation?
I'm going to say a no for me. I think. I mean,
Interesting.
Well, you mean like was I a cat before, or you
Not
know,
a
I came
cat.
back as a cat, or like some other? I was
Well,
another
do you
person.
believe that you come back and you keep on learning lessons until you've learned those lessons, and then
Oh,
you finally
Chad is early in his.
yeah. A lot of lessons to be learned still for
I
Chad.
have quite a few lessons. Just ask Mom when I was a teenager.
That's right.
No, I don't feel like I would come back as other people to learn lessons. I feel like if I was going to come back, it would just be to create a feeling of warmth or comfort for loved ones that were hopefully missing me.
There is a show. I can't remember the name of it now. It's on Netflix, but I watched it months ago, but it was about reincarnation.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, well, this might be interesting. But they had this like 4-year-old boy who at a young age of 3 or 4 started drawing these Navy vessels, like warships,
Okay.
with detail. And his parents were like, wait, what is that? He's 4 years old. Why is he drawing this stuff? And then he started talking about people that he was on the boat with.
Wow.
And when they actually did the research and looked into it,
I think I heard this story.
there was this man's name, the same man that this boy mentioned, on the same ship he drew back in World War I. And
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
that-
there you
I
go.
mean-
How do you explain that?
Well,
like, how do you explain
You can't
that?
explain that,
No, you can't.
right?
no, I realize because it's on TV doesn't mean that it's actually true. But how do you explain that? If it did happen, how do you explain that a 4-year-old can draw that that boat and say a name that he knew?
Well, clearly you can't.
It's
No,
yeah.
it's not. No. I mean, that to me would be an example that is hard to refute, right?
Yeah.
That there is some kind of afterlife, because it's impossible for that child to be able to do that, or to know the person, or anything else.
Yeah, that's very weird.
I mean, when Sue and I lived in our first house, not Paul Street, but Ardsley, the other house we were renting, I remember at like 2 or 3 in the morning, we both shut up out of a dead sleep, and we both saw a young girl in Victorian clothing walk past our bedroom door. We both saw it.
No, sorry, you and who?
Sue. And it was just like, did you see that? I was like, yep. And
Wow.
and we were alone in the house.
It was probably the cat dragging one of Sue's 90s.
Could have been. Yeah. Yeah. She liked to do that. No, but it was, clear as day. A young girl in Victorian clothing walked past the bedroom door. And then we just both kind of looked at each other and went,
So did you go check it out, or did you stay in bed?
I think I stayed in bed. I was like, I'm not going to check that out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting. So I just know how you explain that stuff. It may be, I get if you're by yourself and you have that, and people will say, oh, you were sleepwalking. You had, night terrors, or what do they call that? Sleep paralysis, where you see and hear things. 'Cause you've had that experience before too, of sleep paralysis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's sleep paralysis. Like I feel like I was awake when that happened.
But that's sleep paralysis.
Yeah,
it?
but you couldn't move.
No, I couldn't move. I was lying on my bed in our old place out in Burr, and I saw a black shadow, but it was definitely the shadow of a person or a man or whatever, come like walking by the bedroom door. Like I was looking out there, and it was like walked right by, and it was obvious to me that it was a person or the shape of a person. And I got so scared that I froze. And I couldn't scream. I felt myself just going, like I wanted to yell, "Oh my God, there's someone in the house!" No, I wanted to yell like there's someone in the house, or somebody help me or whatever. And I literally was frozen for probably 30 seconds. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk.
And then what? And then you just came
And
out
it
of
Well,
it.
that's what it is. Fight or
exactly.
flight or freeze. And
I just
you're
sort of
clearly
I snapped out of
freezer.
it, and it was gone and done, and I didn't think more about it. But at that moment, I was pretty convinced somebody was in the house.
Yeah. So
And you
that
couldn't move.
Not an inch.
so that probably was sleep paralysis, but we don't know for sure. Or it was a shadow figure.
I
that was
didn't
visiting
actually
you.
know that was called. I didn't know that was called sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
well, I guess that's what I had then. Well, that's very interesting topic.
So yeah, that's a topic to get everyone thinking about this when they go offline. I guess to what is everyone's viewpoint, and maybe it spurs some conversations.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you brought that topic to us, Vince.
Yeah.
Well, all I can say is I really hope there is something more after life, because I would hate to think there's just darkness and nothingness. Yeah, it's a fascinating,
It is.
and you know what? I hope that maybe one day we'll have enough of technology to figure it out, to know what happens after death. But who really knows? It's pretty fascinating.
We're all gonna find out one day.
Yeah.
We certainly are. I hope that I see you when that happens.
Yeah.
Spence.
Yeah.
I'll
And
be
you
there
too.
waiting.
In the
Of a
meantime,
Corona.
we just keep studying up on deja vu, and just
have a
keep
nice
learning.
Have a nice drink ready for me when I show up.
Yes.
A nice
Well,
Ryan ginger would be perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
You got it.
Well, great topic. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see you
The
next week.
afterlife. Who
The
would have thought?
afterlife.
Who would have thought? See you next time.
On
All right.
ProBROknow.